I just heard this crazy story about a man who purposely threw tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of 1952 baseball cards into the ocean. And I want to share that story with you. The who, the why, and the when. The 1952 Topps baseball cards are considered by most to be the first example of modern day baseball cards. They were developed and designed by a guy named Cy Berger. He had a friend of his help him develop these cards in his kitchen. They came up with the whole outlay, the facsimile autographs, the team logos, the stats on the back of the card, and a little biography also. The original set had 311 cards in it, and they flew off the shelves. They were a big hit. They couldn't keep the shelves stocked. So they came up with an idea of later in the year producing a high-numbered card set. And of course, the cards were distributed by the Topps Chewing Gum Company, not the Topps Baseball Card Company. They were in this to sell gum, and they inserted the cards as a lure of sorts. The original set that we now consider to be the low numbered set had 310 cards in it. And then the second set would run through from card numbers 311 through 407, with card number 311 being the ever popular Mickey Mantle card that is worth millions of dollars now. So with the low numbered set being such a smash hit, Cy couldn't help but expect the high numbered set to do the same. But that's not what happened. The high numbered sets just sat on the shelves. The problem was they released them too late in the season, and all the kids were already thinking about football season and weren't interested in baseball cards. So surprisingly to Cy, he couldn't sell them at all. These cards sat in poor Cy's warehouse for years. He couldn't get rid of them, as hard as he tried. He tried giving them to drugstores. He tried giving them away at carnivals and fairs. Nobody wanted them. Years went by. It was like trying to sell a newspaper that's 2 years old. Nobody was interested. Nobody knew that they would someday be worth thousands of dollars. They were just pictures of baseball players on pieces of cardboard, and people considered them to be junk. The cards sat inside Cy's warehouse for years, 7, maybe 8 years, and it finally got to the point where he had to get rid of them. They were taking up precious space, and nobody wanted them. Finally, the day came when Cy decided he needed to get rid of them. He rented 3 large garbage trucks, loaded them up, shipped them out to the docks in New York City, put them on a barge, and dumped them in the Atlantic Ocean. The estimates are that 300 to 500 cases of 1952 Topps baseball cards were dumped into the Atlantic Ocean. Let's do a little math and see exactly how many cards that is and how many 1952 Topps Mickey Mantles were dumped into the ocean. My handy dandy calculator. I did a little research. There were 6 cards in a pack of 1952 Topps cards. 24 packs in a box. That's 144 cards per box. And 24 boxes in one case of cards. So a case of cards has 3,456 cards in it. Now let's go with the low estimate that there were only 300 cases dumped into the Atlantic Ocean. That leaves over 1 million cards of 1952 Topps, the most coveted card on the planet. That's probably not true, but very coveted, dumped into the Atlantic Ocean. Now let's do some more math and figure out exactly how many Mickey Mantles were possibly dropped into that ocean. So before we do the math as to how many possible Mickey Mantles were dumped into the sea, let me tell you another story about the 1952 Topps cards. So I read another story about a case of cards that was found in an attic in the 80s, and the guy that owned them opened up all the packs and all the boxes, and he found 90 Mickey Mantles, which makes sense when we do the math. that there would be 90 Mickey Mantles in one case. Oh boy, so let's just assume that the high numbered packs contained nothing but high numbered cards, and that would make the math accurate for what that guy found in the case of cards that he opened where he found 90 Mickey Mantles. So we have 1,036,800 cards that were dumped in the ocean, and there were 98 cards in a high number set. But wait, the Mickey Mantle card was a double print, meaning that they made twice as many of those cards as they did the other cards. So really, to do this math properly, we're taking that 1 million card number and dividing it not by 98, but by 49. So it's 1,036,800 cards divided by 49 to see how many Mickey Mantles were mathematically thrown into the Atlantic Ocean. I love saying that, thrown into the Atlantic Ocean. Like, are you kidding me? Anyway, the number of Mickey Mantle cards that you can estimate were thrown into the Atlantic Ocean is 21,159. Think about that for a minute. And that, my friends, is why you don't own the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. So I'm hoping that video was as fun to watch as it was for me to make, and as interesting for you to hear about as it was for me to read about last night. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I don't usually give news stories like that. What I do here is I give out sports cards for free, absolutely free. I pay the shipping. I ask people to subscribe so they can see all the cards that are available. It's a lot of fun for me. I go to the sports card shows, I buy the cards, I hang on to them for a little bit, I enjoy them, and then I don't want them sitting around my house, so I pass them along to the next person. Nothing super rare or expensive. But coming up, cards that are currently available: the Wade Boggs, 84 Wade Boggs, the 74, I don't even know what this is, 74 Precy, 85 Tony Gwynn, 84 Cal Ripken, I love that card, 77 Dan Fouts, and my favorite tennis player of all time, Steffi Graf. So what you need to do to win a card is comment on the video. You can find them on my channel, and it's that simple. You comment, 7 days later I pick a winner out of the comments, and that person gets the card in the mail. All right, everybody, don't forget to subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.